ESS Sovereign's pride materialized from quantum space at the edge of the Procyon system. What should have been empty space erupted with the chaos of active combat plasma, fire streaking between asteroid mining platforms while emergency beacons shrieked across multiple frequencies. Contact, Lieutenant Stellaris announced, her voice tight with professional alarm. Multiple vessels engaged in active combat around Procyon Station, detecting at least 12 ships in 3 separate formations. Admiral Captain Admiral Thorne moved to the tactical display as his bridge crew processed the developing crisis. Through the reinforced viewport, distant explosions painted the asteroid field in brief, brilliant flashes. Fleet status, Thorne commanded, all 7 ships operational and maintaining formation. Commander Blackwood reported while coordinating damage control alerts from across the fleet. ESS Storm's End reports stable systems, but hull patches showing stress from quantum transition, requesting permission to maintain safe distance from combat zone. The tactical display updated as sensors gathered intelligence. 3 distinct groups of vessels circled Procyon Station like predators fighting over prey. Each formation showed sophisticated coordination and military-grade weapons signatures. Admiral Lieutenant Commander Voss called from her intelligence station. I'm receiving simultaneous distress calls in 3 different languages, all claiming to represent legitimate Earth's colonial interests. The ship's communication system crackled with overlapping transmissions. Earth's fleet vessel, this is Governor Harwick of Procyon Colonial Authority. We're under attack by illegal, separatist forces. Request immediate military intervention under Colonial Protection Act provisions. Earth Fleet, this is Commander Thal of Procyon Independence Movement. Colonial Authority forces are conducting unauthorized military operations against civilian populations. We need immediate assistance. Earth Fleet Command Vessel, Administrator, Kellett of Procyon Mining Consortium. Both military factions are disrupting legitimate commercial operations. Request enforcement of commercial protection protocols. Thorne studied the tactical display while explosions continued lighting the asteroid field. All 3 factions are claiming Earth authority. Confirmed, Admiral Voss replied with growing concern. And sir, they're all broadcasting authentic Earth Fleet authorization codes. Another plasma burst erupted between asteroid mining platforms, sending debris cascading through the combat zone. Whatever was happening at Procyon had escalated far beyond typical colonial disputes. Admiral Blackwood said quietly, our orders don't cover situations where multiple factions have legitimate Earth authorization, and with communication delays, we can't contact Earth Command for guidance for weeks. Through the bridge speakers came another urgent transmission. Earth Fleet Vessel. All 3 factions are broadcasting false credentials. This is the real situation. The transmission cut to static as weapons fire intensified around the station. Asterisk in the fleet's communication center. Lieutenant Commander Zara Voss worked through authentication protocols while trying to unravel contradictory claims from 3 factions that all possessed legitimate Earth credentials. Admiral, she reported to Thorne over secure communication. I've completed preliminary analysis of the authorization codes. They're all genuine Earth Fleet's diplomatic credentials. Issued when? That's the problem, sir. Governor Harwick's credentials were issued 8 weeks ago by Earth Colonial Authority. Commander Thal's authorization came from Earth Fleet Command 7 weeks ago. Administrator Kellogg's commercial protection order was signed by Earth Colonial Authority 6 weeks ago. Thorne frowned while studying authentication records that painted impossible pictures. 3 different authorizations issued over consecutive weeks. Yes, sir. And none of these authorizations appear in our mission briefing files or operational updates. With communication delays, any policy changes wouldn't reach us for months. The communication panel chimed with an incoming priority message from ESS Iron Resolve. Captain Torres's voice carried unusual tension. Admiral, my communications officer is detecting systematic jamming across multiple frequencies. Someone's preventing the 3 factions from communicating with each other. The source of the jamming? Unknown, sir. The interference patterns don't match any of the 3 faction signatures. There's a 4th party operating in this system. Voss consulted her intelligence analysis while monitoring faction communications. Admiral, I'm detecting something else. Each faction references recent Earth diplomatic guidance that provided strategic advice about the other factions. What kind of guidance? Governor Harwick was told that Commander Thal's independence movement was actually a front for Keth Dominion territorial expansion. Commander Thal was warned that Harwick's colonial authority had been infiltrated by celestial mandate agents. Administrator Kellogg was informed that both military factions were planning to nationalize commercial operations. The pattern was becoming clear. Each faction had received intelligence designed to make them view the others as existential threats, requiring military response. Assessment of information reliability. Asterisk, none of these intelligence briefings appear in our records, Admiral, but each faction received detailed tactical analysis of the other's capabilities and intentions. Someone provided comprehensive strategic guidance that guaranteed armed conflict. Through the ship's internal communication system came Major Steele's voice. Admiral, my Marines have completed analysis of the combat patterns. These factions are using identical Earth fleet tactical doctrines against each other. On the bridge, Commander Blackwood coordinated fleet positioning while studying the developing crisis. The three factions continued their triangular conflict. Around Procyon Station, each convinced they were defending legitimate Earth interests against hostile forces. Navigation, Thorne commanded. Maintain position at system edge. Launch reconnaissance shuttles to gather direct intelligence from each faction. Sir Stellaris replied, the combat zone is experiencing heavy weapons fire. Shuttle operations will be extremely dangerous, and Storm's End's hull patches may not withstand extended maneuvering if we need emergency extraction. Noted deploy. Anyway, we need first-hand intelligence about what's actually happening here. As the shuttles launched toward the combat zone, another massive explosion erupted near Procyon Station. One of the mining platforms had taken a direct hit from plasma cannons, its hull breaching in multiple locations while emergency systems struggled to contain atmospheric losses. Admiral Blackwood said with growing concern, whatever caused this situation, it's escalating beyond any faction's ability to control. And our ammunition reserves are at 71%. After previous engagements, we can't sustain extended combat operations. The reconnaissance shuttles approached the three faction positions while dodging plasma fire that painted space in deadly rainbows. Each shuttle would interview faction leaders directly, but the answers they brought back would only deepen the mystery of who had manipulated three Earth-authorized factions into destroying each other. In the medical bay, Commander Cross monitored casualty reports from all three factions while preparing for potential emergency treatment. Admiral, she reported through ship communications, I'm receiving medical data from Procyon Station. The casualty pattern suggests systematic military planning rather than spontaneous conflict. Explained targeted strikes on command centers, coordinated attacks on supply lines, precision weapons fire designed to cripple rather than destroy. These factions are fighting each other using advanced tactical knowledge. How advanced? The targeting patterns match Earth fleet assault doctrine. Someone provided all three factions with detailed intelligence about how to conduct military operations against opponents using similar equipment and training. The scope of manipulation was becoming undeniable. Someone had spent months preparing three factions for war against each other using Earth fleet authorization, weapons, training, and tactical intelligence. But who had the access and authority to coordinate such systematic deception? Asterisk. The shuttle Resolute approached the asteroid designated Haven 7 through weapons fire that spoke of desperate factions fighting for survival rather than political dominance. Governor Harwick's makeshift command center occupied a hollowed-out mining facility, its reinforced chambers providing protection from plasma bombardment while emergency lighting cast harsh shadows across tactical displays. Commander Blackwood studied the facility's defensive preparations while the shuttle docked at an emergency airlock. Military barricades, pre-programmed defensive systems, and communication arrays suggested systematic preparation for extended siege operations rather than temporary political unrest. Governor Harwick met them in the command center, her appearance showing weeks of crisis management under impossible conditions. Emergency power provided minimal lighting for tactical displays showing red zones throughout the asteroid field. Commander Blackwood Harwick said with desperate relief, "Thank God, Earth Fleet received our emergency transmission. The situation has exceeded every projection." Blackwood noted the professional quality of her tactical displays and the military efficiency of her staff. His approach drew from historical Portuguese diplomatic methods: establish facts first, maintain neutrality until understanding was complete. Governor, explain the current situation from your perspective. 6 weeks ago, Earth Colonial Authority warned us that Commander Thal's independence movement was actually a Keth Dominion operation designed to establish territorial control over Procyon system. They provided tactical intelligence suggesting immediate military action was necessary to prevent total territorial loss. What specific intelligence? Harwick produced sealed data tablets containing Earth Fleet tactical assessments, detailed analysis of Thal's forces, weapon capabilities, strategic objectives, and timeline for Keth's territorial integration. The intelligence indicated we had perhaps 2 weeks before his movement received direct Keth's military support. Blackwood studied the intelligence reports with growing alarm. The tactical analysis was comprehensive, accurate, and classified at levels that required Earth Fleet Command authorization. Governor, who provided this intelligence? Special Diplomatic Mission 7 under Commander They arrived via courier ship with classified strategic assessments and authorization for immediate military response. Duration of their visit: 3 days. They conducted detailed briefings with our security staff, provided tactical training, materials, and coordinated communication protocols with Earth Colonial Authority. Blackwood cross-referenced the names and mission designation with his portable database. No such mission existed in Earth Fleet records. Governor, do you have communication logs from this diplomatic mission? Commander Kellaway said operational security required communication silence until mission completion. They departed immediately after providing strategic guidance. The manipulation was systematic and professional. Someone had created an entire fake diplomatic mission to provide intelligence that guaranteed armed conflict. 20 minutes later, the shuttle approached asteroid designated Liberty Prime, where Commander Thal's Independence Movement maintained their headquarters in converted commercial facilities. The defensive preparations were equally sophisticated, suggesting military expertise that exceeded colonial militia capabilities. Commander Thale greeted Blackwood in a command center that demonstrated advanced tactical planning and professional military organization. His staff operated communication equipment and tactical displays with efficiency that suggested formal military training. Commander Blackwood Thale said with controlled urgency, "Earth Fleet's arrival confirms our intelligence about colonial authority infiltration by celestial mandate agents." What specific intelligence? 7 weeks ago, Earth Fleet Command provided detailed analysis of Governor Harwick's connections to celestial mandate territorial expansion operations. They warned that her administration had been compromised and was preparing to transfer Procyon system to celestial mandate control. Blackwood studied the intelligence documents with growing recognition of systematic manipulation, like Portuguese administrators discovering competing trade agreements. He was uncovering layers of deception. Who provided this assessment? Special Operations Group 12 under Colonel Westbridge. They conducted comprehensive security analysis and provided tactical recommendations for preventing territorial transfer to hostile powers. Another fake mission with comprehensive intelligence and professional military credentials. Duration of their assessment. For days, they analyzed colonial authority communication patterns, identified compromised personnel, and provided tactical guidance for neutralizing celestial mandate influence. And their departure. Emergency evacuation due to discovery by celestial mandate agents within the colonial authority. Colonel Westbridge said operational security required immediate communication silence. The shuttle's final destination was Asteroid Commerce Central, where Administrator Kellard's mining consortium maintained their headquarters. The facility demonstrated industrial capabilities that had been converted for military purposes with systematic efficiency. Administrator Kellard showed Blackwood through defensive positions that revealed extensive preparation for coordinated assault operations. His security staff operated Earth Fleet military equipment with professional competence. Administrator Blackwood began, "Explain your faction's perspective on recent events." 8 weeks ago, Earth Colonial Authority intelligence warned us that both Governor Harwick and Commander Thale were planning to nationalize all commercial operations under military authority. They provided evidence of secret coordination between the Colonial Authority and Independence Movement to eliminate commercial competition. Kellard produced intelligence documents that were as comprehensive and professional as those provided to the other factions. The intelligence indicated both factions planned to declare martial law, seize all mining equipment, and establish state-controlled industrial operations under foreign military advisement. Who provided this intelligence? Industrial Security Assessment Team for Under Director Morrison. They conducted detailed analysis of political coordination between the military factions and provided tactical guidance for protecting commercial interests. A third, fake mission, with equally professional manipulation. Back aboard ESS Sovereign's Pride, Blackwood reported his findings to Admiral Thorne in the secure briefing room. Lieutenant Commander Crawford observed from the back of the room, taking notes on frontier diplomatic procedures. "Admiral, all three factions received comprehensive intelligence designed to make them view the others as existential threats requiring immediate military response." Timeline: sequential visits over 3 weeks by 3 different fake Earth missions. Each provided professional intelligence, tactical training, and strategic guidance that guaranteed armed conflict. Assessment of coordination: systematic manipulation by parties with access to Earth Fleet intelligence databases, communication protocols, and tactical doctrine. Someone spent months planning this conflict using legitimate Earth authority. Thorne studied the evidence while considering implications that extended far beyond Procyon, who has the capability to conduct such operations. Very few organizations. Admiral, this required comprehensive knowledge of Earth Fleet operations, access to classified intelligence databases, and authority to create fake diplomatic missions with authentic credentials. The communication panel activated with an urgent message from Major Steele. "Admiral, my reconnaissance team has discovered something significant. We need immediate command consultation." Major Steele's shuttle approached the abandoned asteroid facility designated as Eco Station through debris fields that spoke of recent violence. Emergency lighting flickered through shattered view, while hull breaches revealed the systematic destruction of what had been sophisticated military installations. Admiral Steele reported through communication systems that crackled with interference from damaged equipment. "I've found evidence of a fourth faction that was eliminated approximately 3 weeks ago." The boarding team moved through corridors, littered with advanced weapons and communication equipment. Emergency bulkheads had been sealed, but the facility's primary power systems remained operational. Sir Sergeant Willis reported, "These installations show a military organization that exceeded the other 3 factions. Professional defensive positions, advanced communication arrays, sophisticated weapons storage." In the facility's command Center bodies in military uniforms lay at tactical stations where they'd died fighting. Steele examined the corpses while his Marines documented evidence. "Admiral, these are Earth Fleet uniforms with identification that doesn't appear in our personnel database. Someone created an entire fake military unit." The tactical displays remained operational, showing strategic plans for coordinating the other three factions' activities. Communication logs revealed systematic manipulation spanning months. "Sir," Corporal Hayes called from the communication center, "I'm accessing message traffic between this facility and external coordination. The logs show contact with someone identified as Nexus Prime Control." Steele reviewed the communication records with growing alarm. "Admiral, this fourth faction was coordinating with Nexus Consortium to manage the three-faction conflict. But 3 weeks ago, someone eliminated this entire operation. Evidence of who conducted the elimination. Weapon signatures consistent with Nexus plasma systems, but the timing suggests systematic cleanup rather than hostile action." Through the facility's emergency communication system came an automated message that had been broadcasting for weeks. "Operation Procyon concluded successfully. All coordination assets eliminated per protocol. Nexus Prime Control assumes direct management." More explosions erupted in the asteroid field as the three-faction conflict intensified. But now Steele understood the truth. Nexus had eliminated their coordination facility to prevent discovery while letting the manipulated factions destroy each other. Admiral Hayes reported from the intelligence center. "I'm detecting multiple Nexus vessels maintaining position in the outer system. They've been monitoring the conflict while remaining hidden." "Fleet positions," Thorne commanded for Nexus cruisers, 2 destroyer-class vessels, positioning themselves to observe rather than participate. "They're recording tactical data from the three-faction engagement." The revelation transformed tactical understanding. Nexus hadn't just manipulated the conflict, they were using it as a laboratory to study Earthfleet. Tactical doctrine under controlled conditions. "All ships," Thorne ordered, "combat alert. Nexus vessels are observing our response for intelligence-gathering purposes." The fleet moved into defensive formation as the Nexus ships emerged from their hidden positions. Advanced vessels with modifications that suggested systematic intelligence-gathering capabilities approached the combat zone with predatory efficiency. "Nexus fleet, this is Admiral Thorne. Explain your presence in Procyon system." The response came from the lead Nexus vessel. "Admiral, we're conducting legitimate commercial assessment of regional stability. Our operations fall within established trade law parameters. By manipulating 3 Earth-authorized factions into armed conflict, we have no knowledge of factional political disputes. Our assessment involves market stability analysis." Lieutenant Commander Raven's tactical analysis revealed uncomfortable truths. Admiral, Nexus vessels are equipped with plasma signature detection arrays designed for intelligence gathering. They've been systematically recording our fleet capabilities and tactical responses. Return fire authorization. "Sir, they haven't committed hostile acts under colonial law, but their intelligence gathering compromises operational security for future missions." The tactical dilemma was complete. Nexus had manipulated 3 factions into conflict using fake Earth authority, eliminated their coordination facility to prevent discovery, and used the resulting battle to gather intelligence about Earth fleet response procedures, but they'd done it without technically violating colonial law. Admiral Voss reported, "I'm detecting communication traffic between Nexus vessels and unknown recipients. They're transmitting tactical data about our fleet capabilities in real time to whom? Unknown, sir. But the communication patterns suggest coordination with multiple recipients across different star systems." The scope of systematic intelligence gathering was becoming clear. Nexus wasn't just manipulating individual conflicts, they were coordinating galaxy-wide intelligence operations designed to compromise Earthfleet tactical advantages. "All ships," Thorne commanded, "pattern Alpha 7 force Nexus withdrawal," without providing additional tactical intelligence. The fleet moved with coordinated precision that demonstrated Earthfleet tactical superiority. But Raven's sensors detected uncomfortable truths about Nexus preparation. "Admiral, they're adapting to our maneuvers in real time." Someone provided them with detailed analysis of Earthfleet tactical doctrine. The Nexus vessels withdrew toward the system edge while continuing to transmit intelligence data. They'd accomplished their objective systematic analysis of Earth's fleet capabilities under combat conditions while maintaining legal protection through commercial law. Nexus fleet departing system, Stellaris reported. "But sir, they've gathered comprehensive tactical intelligence about our operational procedures." As the Nexus vessels disappeared into quantum drive, Admiral Thorne faced the implications of systematic manipulation that extended far beyond Procyon. Someone was coordinating intelligence-gathering operations across multiple star systems using fake Earth authority to create conflicts that served as tactical laboratories. The 3 factions continued their battle around Procyon Station, each convinced they were defending legitimate Earth interests against hostile forces. But now Earthfleet understood the truth. They were all victims of manipulation designed to generate intelligence for Earth's commercial rivals. Commander Blackwood began the difficult process of explaining to three manipulated factions that their conflicts served only their enemies' intelligence requirements, while Earth's reputation suffered from the systematic deception conducted in their name. The confrontation occurred aboard ESS Sovereign's Pride in the main briefing room, where Admiral Thorne had arranged for Governor Harwick, Commander Thale, and Administrator Kellard to meet under Earth Fleet mediation. The absence of the fake diplomatic missions was deliberate. They had departed weeks earlier, leaving all three sides to discover the scope of their manipulation without the architects present to explain themselves. Earth authorities deceived all three parties. Thorne announced with calm authority that carried the weight of documented evidence. Governor Harwick was told that Commander Thale represented Keth territorial expansion. Commander Thale was warned that Governor Harwick had been compromised by Celestial Mandate agents. Administrator Kellard was informed that both military factions planned commercial nationalization. All claims were deliberately false. Governor Harwick's exhaustion gave way to controlled anger as the manipulation became clear. They told us the independence movement was planning aggressive territorial expansion that would eliminate colonial authority. They offered tactical intelligence and defensive coordination to prevent complete territorial loss. Commander Thale listened with military composure that masked growing outrage. Earth Fleet Command told us the colonial authority had been systematically infiltrated and was preparing to transfer Procyon's system to hostile powers. They said immediate action was essential to prevent territorial betrayal. Administrator Kellard studied the evidence with commercial calculation. Both military factions were allegedly coordinating to eliminate commercial operations through enforced nationalization. We were told defensive preparation was necessary to preserve legitimate business interests. All three sets of intelligence were systematically false. Thorne confirmed with fatherly patience that carried unmistakable command authority. Earth Colonial Protection Act requires negotiated agreements that protect both legitimate governance and commercial interests. No Earth authority authorized the conflicts you've been fighting. Commander Blackwood approached the situation with diplomatic efficiency that drew from Portuguese maritime traditions mediate between competing interests while preserving Earth's overall authority. The weapons exist and cannot be uninvented. The territorial tensions have been created and must be addressed. We need agreements that account for current realities while preventing future manipulation. But the fundamental problem remains, cross-observed with medical directness. All three factions now possess military capabilities that have been integrated into their operations. The tactical knowledge cannot be forgotten. The resolution required acknowledging profit-driven manipulation while establishing frameworks that prevented future exploitation. The three factions would coordinate their activities under Earth Fleet oversight protocols that accounted for communication delays, scheduled mediation rather than impossible real-time guidance. Territorial and commercial agreements would be renegotiated to recognize legitimate interests while preventing systematic exploitation. All three factions will maintain current defensive capabilities, Thorne announced, subject to Earth Fleet inspection protocols designed to ensure they're used for legitimate defense rather than territorial expansion. Commercial and governmental operations will continue under agreements that acknowledge all three parties' legitimate interests and protection against future manipulation, Thale asked. Earth Fleet will maintain patrol schedules that include Procyon's system. Any external parties attempting systematic manipulation will be investigated and held accountable through colonial law. What about compensation for the casualties and facility damage? Harwick demanded. Nexus Consortium will be held accountable for systematic deception that created this conflict. Earth's fleet will pursue appropriate legal action through colonial courts, though communication delays mean resolution will require months. The agreement satisfied immediate requirements while establishing precedents for Earth Fleet operations throughout contested space, but the intelligence gathered by Nexus would influence Earth Fleet operations for years, ensuring that future battles would be fought against enemies who possessed detailed knowledge of Earth Fleet capabilities and limitations. 2 days later, as ESS Sovereign's Pride accelerated toward their next patrol sector, the fleet carried evidence of systematic manipulation that reached to the highest levels of Earth's colonial administration. 3 separate fake diplomatic missions had been created with authentic credentials, comprehensive intelligence, and professional military support. In his personal log, Commander Blackwood recorded the lesson that would define his approach to frontier diplomacy. The greatest diplomatic challenges come not from hostile alien civilizations, but from parties using Earth's own authority for purposes that serve our enemies rather than our interests. Today I negotiated between 3 factions that all possessed legitimate Earth credentials while serving systematic manipulation designed to compromise our tactical advantages. The resolution required acknowledging that Earth's authority had been systematically compromised while establishing frameworks that prevented future manipulation. But the intelligence gathered by our enemies will influence their operations for years. Frontier diplomacy involves constant awareness that our greatest strength, the authority and credibility of Earth Fleet, can become our greatest vulnerability when that authority is systematically exploited by parties with access to our most sensitive planning and operational procedures. The evidence from Procyon would be classified at the highest levels, while Earth fleet adapted their procedures to account for systematic intelligence compromise. But the fundamental question remained unanswered: who had the access and authority to create fake Earth missions with authentic credentials? The answer would determine whether Earth's fleet was fighting external enemies or discovering that the greatest threats came from within their own command structure. Meanwhile, ESS Storm's End continued operating with hull patches that showed increasing stress from each quantum transition, while the fleet's ammunition reserves dropped to 65%. The mathematical realities of frontier operations continued their relentless calculations, ensuring that each mission reduced their capabilities while enemies gained intelligence that made future operations increasingly difficult. Outside the view, sport stars continued their ancient patterns with mathematical precision that offered no guidance for the human choices that would determine whether Earth's expansion served Earth's interests or merely provided intelligence for those who understood Earth's methods better than Earth understood theirs.
Welcome, traveler. We're glad you're here. Every story you hear is made with care and passion. If you enjoy it, please like, subscribe, and check out the other adventures waiting for you on our channel. Your support means the world. Thank you. We hope you enjoy the story.
Humanity Galactic Frontiers, all rights reserved. This video and its contents are protected under international copyright law. Any unauthorized copying, distribution, or re-uploading is strictly prohibited without written permission. If you enjoyed this journey, please like the video and subscribe for more stories from the edge of the galaxy. Thanks for watching, and stay curious out there among the stars.